everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access. Thank you all for watching. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button down there. Of course, it's free. Spread the word. Keep Unique Access growing so we can keep bringing you guys all these great interviews. And, of course, be sure to share and like our content as well. We got a lot of great things coming up. And today we have the honor and privilege of being joined by a legend from the Soul Brothers, man. Thank you very much for coming through, sir.
Yes, sir. I've been waiting for this moment, Soren. What's happening, man?
Man, I'm glad you were able to make it through, man. It's been obviously admiring your work through everything from afar for so long. So I'm glad we actually get to chop it up and get it out there for people to better understand and appreciate what you and the Soul Brothers brought to the game, and still the legacy remains.
Let's go.
So first of all, the thing that I remember the most was figuring out and understanding who you guys were from Bust a Move. But let's go way before that. So are all three of you guys, and you should break down who everybody is, but did all three of you guys grow up in LA, born and raised?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I didn't meet them till my senior year in high school, but they all grew up in LA.
Okay. And that's V-Love?
V-Love, Craigie, and myself, Legendary.
Right. And then what made you guys bond so well, do you think?
Well, they were dancing previously during something called the Trendy Era. That was right after Uncle Jams. And it was these promotions called Ultra Wave, Jam City, and they would hold these dance contests. And so that's where they were honing their skills at early from that time, like Osco's, clubs like that. So from there, the music started to transition. And then, hip hop came in. And then we kind of broke it down to the three. So all the groups back in LA back then were like 7, 6 deep. So we came down. First of all, we broke it down to 4. And the 4th member, people don't know, is the MC D.O.C. He was a Soul Brother. So we was the 4. Like if we would have stayed the 4, I doubt if we would have ever danced for Def Jef, and we would have did it more like the Lockers, because it was more of us to fill the whole stage. And we had different styles, different body types, and it would have been more presentable with the 4. So he went away to college to Berkeley and then left the 3. And then that was it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then from what you guys, that I know of you guys, it seemed like you always gravitated more to the East Coast music than the harder gangster-y stuff coming out of LA. Is that accurate? If so, why or why not?
Well, really, it was like what was out there because, Biz Markie and KRS was kind of like rocking before N.W.A even came out. So like the golden era with Salt-N-Pepa and those type of videos, the bright colors, everybody was happy. So we had to go with, what that time was.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. And of course, back at that era, a lot of the groups either had dancers or the artists could dance themselves and supplemented or enhanced or were part of the dance routines. So being in LA and being removed from that scene, how did you guys help develop a different style with your boogie style that was going on out here?
Okay, what we did was after I graduated from high school, my grandmother blessed me with some money to a trip to New York.
Oh.
And all the dancers used to hang out at this guy, Cliff Love. He used to dance with Houdini. He used to always hang out at his house. And that's where I met Scoob and Scrap. And Scoob was like, listen, man, your best bet is to get with a rapper and try to, do something good and go on tour. So when we came back to LA, there wasn't that many options. We had King T, really didn't need dancers. Maybe who else was out? Can't remember. So yeah, so it was like Def Jef was like the best going. He's from the East Coast. He had that East Coast cadence, you know what I'm saying, that went with our combination. So that was like the best opportunity we had to branch out on the West Coast.
Okay. And then this is, that's still though before D.O.C would have gone to college though, right?
No, that was right after.
Right after?
Right after. We met Jeff, right after D.O.C left. Okay,
so what was the conversation like, and how did you guys stay in touch a lot? Did you not stay in touch? What was going on?
With who, D.O.C?
Yeah.
Now, he already made that commitment to school early, you know, so that was his journey. And it was like, you know, it was no hard feelings or anything like that. But like I said, he went on, like I said, it worked out for him. We started MCing, you know, stay on the independent flow. So it did good for him. But I'm telling you, man, when it came to dancing, like for me, for my money, 200 times better dancer than he was an MC. And his MCing is cool. But dancing, the dude was wicked. Very wicked. Yes, sir.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of D.O.C, as he knows. So shout out D.O.C.
That's right. That's my man.
So then, how did you end up getting in the Bust a Move video? Was that Def Jef or was that something else?
Through Def Jef, our first show with Def Jef, we performed for the Ross Brothers. And from that day on, they just fell in love with us. So anything Delicious Vinyl orientated, it was us. So anything they did, you know, we were gonna get first crack at it. So
right.
Young MC was first up to the plate. We jumped in, and man, it was crazy because we always dreamed of dancing for, like, you know, Rakim or Biz Markie. But we got that video, man, they play that video every single day, all day. And it just like, you know, we couldn't complain.
No, I remember. I remember seeing it. Well, congratulations for that. But as you guys were growing and developing and then leading up to that video, how had you guys assumed different roles in the crew? Like, what was everybody's role?
Man, it kind of happened organically because, like I said, they were already a group already before I got in. I was the last one to get in. Like, D.O.C was second to last, and I was last. So as the music changed and everybody kind of like had their role. So my role was, like I said, they were already established doing things. So my role, I brought a mentality in through my football knowledge, and brought that to dance. And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, meeting the East Coast dancers, finding out what the business aspect of it was. And then, like I said, Craig brought in, you know, strict hardcore mentality, choreography. Vila he's the heart and soul of the group. You know what I'm saying? The caring one. And he just brought, you know, just a vicious style. Like him and Scoob was like my favorite dancers for like years.
So back to Scoob, because I was going to get to that. How did you guys, or how did you on this trip, and shout out to your grandma, but how did you meet up? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, 333 Lafayette. That was a place where all the best dancers met up at Cliff Love House. And we would get there in the living room right there. You know, Cliff was came from a single mom. So, you know, we moved the furniture back, just dance right there in the living room. Okay. Like everybody came, like, you know, for everybody's the best of the best. The Houdini dancers, the EPMD dancers, like Fendi, like the Stretches, like I said, the Scoob and Scraps, we all there sparring, you know, putting it in and just getting better.
And that's interesting because I think with dance, a lot of people have seen the business of rap get so big, and a little bit in a different ways, the business of DJing gets so big, but the business of dance element of hip hop, I don't think we've seen get that big since the early break-ins type of movies. But how was that response, or what was your reaction when Scoob was talking to you about the business of dancing? Was that surprising to you? What did you think? No,
man, because like I said, it was like graduating from high school and going to adulthood. It felt like I was just a grown man move. You know, like I said, it wasn't like when you meet your alike or meet somebody equal to you, it's not about the battle, you know what I'm saying, per se, when it normally is. So just connecting, like I said, and liking each other and wanting to see each other grow. Like, that's why I said we've been dedicated. Everybody always wanted to see us battle. Like, even for years, it's like folklore. But we never could because we were like bonded from day one. Right. So, like I said, given that knowledge, it was just like, okay, like that's you know, it was more than just getting in a circle and dancing. It just, you know, it's time to take it across country.
And then when you guys were in New York, did you get to see Kane perform while you were there?
Yeah, I met Kane. If you even go to one of my pages, you see an old picture of him when he still stayed with his parents. You know, he had a hole in his shirt. You know, I had on some old funny Bob Hope shorts. I mean, this was the early days. So it was like, yeah, that was a pivotal, like going to his house that day. That's what really opened us up culturally, because I can't remember what it was. Like Kane had a book or something on his desk and it caught my attention. And then it was like from that moment on, that's when we started getting knowledge of self. And then our dancing really took on a whole different light, because now we were doing it for some type of purpose now. It wasn't just getting out there and just, you know, getting the best move off.
So what did that purpose become?
Dancing, like, as far as we know, like movement and energies, like taking it more back to African tribes. Those dancing and movements, you know, heal certain people. Like certain things make people feel good. You know what I'm saying? So when it was time for war, they did, you know, that little run and chant they getting. So all those things started to come into our lives. Like when we did that big show when Mandela came here, like meeting his dancers, you know, meeting him, and they looking at us and telling us, yo, you guys are the ones, like, it's time for you guys to get out there and do something with it. We was like, wow. Like, you know, we had a lot of similarities. So like I said, it became different meanings. We would go to Philly and see that whole movement when the mayor had bombed the city. And then we were like the first cats that walked through. We were walking through looking for a battle. We were trying to battle Fresh Prince's dancer, Omar, and ended up there, you know, at this house where, you know, that was burnt down. And so we was like, okay, we got a different purpose. So yeah, that's pretty much been it.
Like all right, well, we're going a little out of order, but with
yeah, definitely.
Meet Mandela, explain how and why that happened.
So they had Mandela came, and they had all these rappers that were hot at the time, from Tone Loc, D.O.C, which was the Mad Circle at the time, with DJ Aladdin, Ice-T, and they were just gonna rap. So Ice-T always been behind us from day one. I mean, the love is just like, to this day, the love is there. So anyway, we were just supposed to go and dance for Jeff. And he was like, no, you guys are going to dance for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So on every hook, he would push us out there and just let us groove. So while we were doing that, or even at sound check, Mandela brought his African dancers, and now they're watching us. And then we just bonded, and they just was like, wow, what is that? It's so close to back home, but it's different. And that's when it just this connection. Plus, that's what we learned too with Aladdin. He was the first DJ that DJ'd for our dancing. Like he knew when to pause, knew when to scratch, like he knew our moves, and it was like, it blew my mind because it was, you know, it wasn't rehearsed. So like I said, those little things like that saw that we, you know, we was doing different things.
Yeah, I will say I had the fortune of seeing Aladdin in person one time before I actually lived in LA, but one time when I was out here doing some work, it was at the famous Rap Olympics battle that Eminem came in second place at, but Aladdin DJ'd, he had a little showcase or something there. And I'll never forget, I've never seen anyone before him or since him do this, but he was mixing and scratching, and he like jumped over the turntables and didn't miss a beat. It was like he had the same routine in air and turned around and landed and had the same thing going. I've never seen that before him, after, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I'd always loved low profile, and I love what he did with Ice-T later on as a producer, of course, but his DJing skills, obviously on low profile, and the other stuff he did with Rhyme Syndicate, Aladdin is like so phenomenal, man. He's
definitely
super talented. So I'm glad that he was one of the ones that understood you guys so much. So that being said, why at this point the rappers would dance, and I think Def Jef also doesn't get, you know, obviously he wasn't on your guys' level as a dancer, but he could get down too, I saw.
Yeah. You know, he was trying to do a few little combinations here and there.
So what difference did you notice with Def Jef and even before, like with the Canes or the Heavy D's? or the Salt-N-Peppers that would dance with as part of the routine or whatever, versus the rappers that didn't? How did they connect live differently with the audience, do you think?
Well, at that time, it was, like I said, the golden era. So having the best stage show at that time was very, very important. So if you were just a rapper and just stood in one spot, it was hard, going to be hard for you to go up against a Kane or Heavy D or Def Jef and the Soul Brothers, because just like I said, the energy and the stage show was so tight. Like I said, we were taking the mentality of, the Harlem Renaissance days and Central Avenue. We were bringing that mentality, to the stage. We was learning from Houdini. We were learning from the best. We were learning from KRS-One. We were learning from Houdini. So, like I said, unless you were really a hot rapper by yourself, it was rough for you. You needed the DJ, the dancers, and the MC at that time.
And I got a shout out. I didn't mention Kid and Play, of course. They had it too.
Oh, man. We're going to get with them later because they're doing something real big for us right now.
Oh, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. So then back to Bust a Move now. So then when this video comes out, how did that change your guys' life and your trajectory?
Well, it helped because, like I said, once again, through our New York connections, we knew Fab Five, which in turn, we met Ted Demme, rest in peace. So he played he always cut a little snippet and made sure a little commercial, like my slide I did in Bust a Move, it played like every single day. So from there, it was like, that was their moment, like, okay, who are these guys? It was just enough. It was like that buzz started going. And like I said, it's like, people always say we don't have the internet and stuff, but back then, and word of mouth was just as good. Because your name would flow from here to Germany, in seconds. So Bust a Move really set it off, but the dropping rhymes on drums, that's when we arrived.
Okay, so that's Def Jef. Yeah. Give It Here, I guess I would say, was his first quote unquote big single, but then when dropping rhymes on
that's Sudan and Divine dancing in that.
Right. So when you guys came, or with dropping rhymes on drums, I should say, with that video, the Def Jef's got a little shine in there, but also you guys are all throughout the video and all, I guess, what are you on a college campus, I guess?
Yeah, we're at USC.
Okay, cool. So the thing that I always liked about Def Jef, obviously he's very lyrical, but he also, dropping rhymes on drums is a good example, but he would sprinkle a lot of messages into everything else he was rapping about.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the power of that for you as far as just a music fan?
Well, like I said, especially at that time, it was also not only the golden era, but it was the pro-black rap era. So like I said, learning about yourself, it's like, just imagine like not knowing your history or something, like you were like 19 years old. So I learned about who I was as a black man at 19 years old. So it was like, so hearing, and Chuck D's music, like Kim Shabazz was my favorite. Kim Shabazz, Chuck D, Poor Righteous Teachers. So those, like I said, those lyrics, like they said, the power in the word, those lyrics give your moves meaning. You know what I'm saying? So if you notice, we were never the 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't really do well behind like somebody like Mariah Carey or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, the basic. So if you notice like those lyrics, the more powerful the lyrics are, the better our combinations were. So that's why you see our combinations are so constantly going, because those lyrics give the energy. That's why we started dancing to the lyrics in our career. People were like, what are they doing? We were dancing to the lyrics because we would feel them that much, would set the move off.
Okay. So then with dropping rhymes on drums, since you guys were with Def Jef at the time and you guys are all through the video, how was the response or reaction different from Bust a Move?
That was our arrival moment. That was just all, it was like, because before we had, other people, we had D Barnes, we had Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were all, a cast of people were in Bust a Move. When it came to dropping rhymes, that was all Def Jef, Eric Bauer, and the Soul Brothers. So that's when our name just started ringing from there, Soren. It was just like, and the fashion, because we had the overalls with the one down, one up, you know, tie dye, whatever. Like I said, just to get into the culture. And like I said, those movements had just came to us like pretty much overnight. So that's what set it off right there.
Now I remember, obviously I don't remember much about it, but I do remember you guys being on Pump It Up. Since you mentioned D Barnes, did you, how did it work with you guys, I guess, quote unquote, separate from Def Jef around this time? Were you guys doing a lot of stuff outside of him? You were doing interviews outside of him, shows?
Definitely. Glad you said that. So like I said, with the dance movement, you know what I'm saying, it was also a dance movement happening. You know, people were just picking out, you know, different characters. So like I said, we were characters also. So Greg Campbell Jr. from the Lockers, rest in peace, he told us early, they used to hate that we danced for Def Jef. They was like, bro, we're the Lockers. Like, we already set the tone for you to dance by yourself. You no longer have to be a line dancer. You don't have to be on solid gold or whatever the case may be. You don't have to be behind anybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially the stuff you guys are doing. Get out in front, right? So we always had that mentality of, like I said, about the four. We know how things are supposed to look. So anyway, we always kept that mentality. And so we always did stuff outside of Def Jef. And then so Pump It Up did the dance special. And when we did that, that's when it went to the moon. So from there, we started doing shows in the Bay. We started doing shows San Diego, Texas, wherever dancing was really hot, that's where we did shows.
And then how, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to any of those, but how did those work? They just said Soul Brothers, or did you like?
Yeah, straight Soul Brothers. And like I said, now we're going to go get deep for you real quick, Soren. And I never tell these stories, and I always ask the Soul Brothers, how come we never tell these stories, right? Here you go. First one, exclusive for you. So we get a call. Like I said, we was going up north with Jeff. You know what I'm saying? This is early. Like young N.W.A and Tech was up there. Young Shock G, you know. I don't even think Money B was around yet, because the same director who did Drop It Rhymes also did Do What You Like. So we were all kind of like, you know, just vibing up there. Hammers, dancers. Like I said, it was like really hot in the Bay for a second. So we get a call, word of mouth, something, some promoters want us to do. Rent a theater, like a movie theater or something like that. Straight Soul Brothers show, name on the marquee. Bam. Okay, no problem. It's hot up there. I think it was like Santa Rosa, one of those little towns. So packed show. So we get a call. Layla Steinberg was like, these two guys, man, really love you guys. They want to know if you can open up. I'm like, you know, who are they? And then to get on our good side, she was like, well, one of them's mom is a Panther, and the other one's grandfather is Cab Calloway. So we like, oh, it's on. I don't even need to hear who they are. I don't care what the song is. He knows Cab Calloway. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? They tell him to open up. So when we get there, the two guys is Tupac and Ray Love. We like, yo, Tupac and Ray Love's opening up for us, right? So it's like, but still we're not registering Tupac because we're so happy, our dance mentality. This guy is related to Cab Calloway. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear those stories. So we were drawn more to Ray Love, but like Tupac sitting right next to us. So yeah, so that's how we met him. And then we gave him that confidence to go out there and do his dance thing with Digital Underground. And the rest is history after that.
Wow.
You know the story from there, but prior to, anybody want to know, prior to Digital Underground, Tupac, that was us. Kicking it, sleeping on the same floor, chilling. And it was so crazy, you know, so crazy as far as relationship-wise. Once again, my grandmother, he was way closer to my grandmother than he was to me.
Really?
We're tight. They used to talk on the phone all the time.
And then yeah. What about Ray Love? What were those stories like, and what was he like back then?
Ray Love was cool, man. He was just, like I say, getting this spit on. You know the MC Ray Love, right? from the Bay. Yeah, he was just spitting, you know what I'm saying, telling us, like I said, a few Cab Calloway stories. So we always try to keep in touch with him over the years. But yeah, that was mainly the thing. Like I said, it was like a group of us. It was these guys called the Wild Boys. And they turned into a R&B group called Christian or something like that later in later years. Remember them?
They were on Rockefeller.
Exactly. So they used to give Hammer the Blues in his early days. So before Let's Get It Started, that was the group that used to give Hammer the Blues on the dance floor. So like I said, it was all connected and real fun because like I said, it was all young, innocent, you know what I'm saying? Like when everybody was first getting started.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV back with N.W.A.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
There's always gonna be shit happening in the street. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.